Megan Holland. I think I know everybody in here. My background in social media is kind of lengthy. I did the social media for ERDIC for 5 years. I actually created all of their pages and ran those until I transferred into one of the labs. And then I'm currently the PR chair for Junior Auxiliary, and I run that page. And then I also helped redo the church page and ran it briefly until Anna was hired, and she does it now, and she does a great job. So they asked, obviously I don't have kids, so I had to do a little research just to be a little more familiar with some of this. I wasn't super sure what's cool with the kids now, so I did my best to try to come up with some of that. But I did not grow up being a teenager with social media, and I would guess most of y'all are in the same boat. Facebook came to Mississippi College when I was a freshman, and we were all super excited. It was a big deal. That was back when you had to be in college to have Facebook. And prior to that, we had MySpace, I think, for a little bit. Yes.
I never had it.
And it wasn't the same. It's not the same as it is now, where everybody is on these platforms and you can see everything. So my plan is just to kind of go through the different types of social media, and then talk a little bit about cyberbullying, and then what you can do to protect your kids from all of this. Okay, so Facebook, which is probably what most people are the most familiar with. I'm being told that the cool kids don't like Facebook anymore. Is that what you? Mm-hmm. So you're not. It's probably not going to be as common. Facebook is one of the safer ones, just because of how stringent their privacy settings have become, because they've been under scrutiny. But the biggest risk is communicating with people that they don't know or you don't know. It's so easy to make a fake profile. And I was actually going to make like a little old lady profile and say she went to First Baptist and link friend request everybody in the class, but I ran out of time. But it was just going to be like a little lesson on how easy it is to be tricked, because you can see like familiar things, especially you can see like they'll see like a school or something that they recognize, and it could be an adult, it could be anybody. So you just have to monitor that. Okay, Twitter. I don't know that kids do Twitter at all either, but Twitter is not easy to control as far as what they see. The content is just out there for everybody to see. You don't have to follow anybody to see their stuff really. But I use that mainly for news and like commentary on like The Bachelor when it's on, to see like what other people are saying about what's going on. So I don't know that would factor in much either. Okay, Instagram is probably my personal favorite, and I think the kids think it's cool still.
Yeah, they still do that.
Yeah, okay. The kids still think Instagram is cool. And it's easy. You see photos, videos from the people you follow. It's easy to set your profile to private. They can look at people that they don't follow necessarily, but there is a search history that comes up on Instagram, so it's really easy to see what's happening on Instagram. Snapchat is probably going to be like the biggest issue right now as far as teenagers and kids go. First of all, there's a false sense that anything sent is private because it disappears. But anybody can screenshot that, and it does give you a notification if someone screenshots your messages, but at that point there's nothing you can do about it. They have the picture, and it's out of your hands. And then also there's something called Snapchat After Dark, which I don't know, have you heard about that? I didn't know anything about it. I've never seen it, but there's a community section on Snapchat, and there apparently is a borderline or actual pornography set part of Snapchat that you can access. I don't know how you access it, but it is there. So I would be very wary about Snapchat in particular. Marco Polo, y'all, I don't know anything about Marco Polo. Okay, would you like to tell me?
I love it. It's like a visual text message.
Yeah.
Like you can do it to one person, you can do it to a group.
You can change your voice.
You can
Yeah,
speed
and
them
then
up if they get long-winded.
Yeah. You can press like times 2 and it'll hurry them up. I love it.
Okay, so yeah, that the
You can
only
do
thing
it like while
you're on
driving.
camera.
It's not
That's
really
that's the
fast.
only thing about it. But I keep hearing it's really fun. I don't know. Maybe
love
I'll
it.
just
I haven't tried it yet.
You should
I'll
try.
send you a request.
send me a request on Marco Polo and I will look at that.
It's really nice when you're on travel and stuff like that.
Oh, so you can send messages.
Well,
back
it's
and
just
forth.
you know, they don't get service. Where are you surprised?
You're not really chatting with them, you're just sending a message.
Yeah, it's just your face. Like it's like a quick FaceTime.
Mom, did you know what Marco Polo was? Oh, good.
It's great. I love it.
My mom knows about it. Okay.
This was a great document.
YouTube is unfiltered content everywhere. I mean, you just have to be really careful with YouTube. My college roommate has small kids, and she told me that there's a new thing happening now on YouTube where the title and the sounds are kids shows, but the content is inappropriate. And if a parent walks through the room, you don't know what your kid is looking at. So that's, I mean. Okay, Vault apps. Did y'all know about this?
I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry, Mac.
Okay, so Vault app. Apparently, I had to ask.
Where's Eric?
Another one of my good friends is a counselor at Clinton High School, and this is what they're having trouble with the kids now doing. It's an app that comes up to look like a calculator or something else,
Eric's
but
talking about
Like
that
the
one.
hidden apps.
there's hidden stuff back behind it, like pictures and messages and inappropriate content. So they said the thing there is like if your child has 2 calculators on their phone, like that's not right. Like they don't want to calculate. Like you have to just look and see what's doubled and make sure. And I don't really know how else to find those. Gaming. Does anybody know anything? Well, I don't know much about that either. I know you can talk to people and you can share content and that kind of thing. And it is listed as one of the top risks. I just don't happen to know anything about it. As far as them, other people accessing them and the potential for private information to be shared. And then the other ones that came up, Ask FM, Chat Roulette, Discord, Kick, Line, Telegram, WeChat, and WhatsApp.
Kick is awful.
What is it?
It's just an app where anybody can do really anything. It's just texting random people that you don't
Okay,
know.
don't let them get on. Yeah, so they're just ones that came up to check for, and there's going to be constantly new things like all the time. And then I'm going to go through in a second and tell you what you can do to make sure these are safer. But okay, cyberbullying. Right now, I'm going to go into that a little more. So this is bullying that happens over social media, but it's also text, message apps, and email. And I did not know that was included. I just assumed it was online. It's anything that happens basically not in person. And so obviously there have always been bullies. They're out there, but now there's just a stronger platform. And I can't fathom being a 7th grade girl right now, like having to worry about stuff being put on social media or accounts being made. Like it's just horrifying to me to think about having to deal with how mean people were in junior high with it being amplified. So that's just kind of what we're looking at here. The numbers I found, CDC did a study, and they estimated 15% of high school students are victims of cyberbullying. I would say that number is probably higher. Again, I have a friend who's a counselor at Clinton High School, and she deals with it all the time. So it's a major issue right now. And part of that is because you can bully anonymously. You don't have to stand up to someone like in the cafeteria and say, I don't like you because, or start a rumor. You can create fake accounts. You can do things from behind a computer screen without having to face consequences necessarily. And that tends to make people more bold in their actions and what they say. So, like, as far as fake accounts go, those can also be hard to stop. You have to contact the platform and ask them to take it down. So it's just something to watch and be really careful about. And make sure you know what's going on with your child, pretty much. I had a coworker tell me about a younger teenager that is a family friend who someone last year created an account that was, this girl's name is a cow. It was a Snapchat account, and they sent like messages all day, every day for months until they were able to get the account shut down. And she didn't want to get rid of her Snapchat because she had her other friends on there. Like, it was just a whole, but it was it's something that does happen, and kids can just be really mean sometimes. So it's just another way for them to do it creatively, unfortunately. So persistence, like I just said, it happened all the time. You can't really get away from it with cyberbullying. Before, like, we would leave school and go home, and you were kind of like safe once you left school if somebody was being ugly to you. Cyberbullying gives people access to you all the time, so there's really not anywhere that you can get away from it if it's happening. It can be permanent. It's out there for everyone to see, which can mean it's more damaging, and then also it can be harder to notice because you don't really see it or hear it. So it's something that you're going to have to check for constantly and ask about. And while I was looking all this up, so all states have laws requiring schools to address bullying issues, but most states do not include cyberbullying under those laws or specify what schools have to do if bullying takes place off campus. And Mississippi is one of those states. So if a child from school is bullying your child by cyberbullying, there will be no repercussions at the school as far as the law is written right now, unless the school decides to do something different. But legally, they are not required to. Do you know much about that?
I mean, I think that's probably dealt on a school-by-school basis. Mm-hmm. I know that if it happens during school hours, they're not supposed to have their phones, so if it happens during school hours, they can. And I also know as far as sending pictures, let's say a 6th grade girl sends a picture of herself to a 6th grade boy and he passes it on, he can get in trouble for that because she's underage. And so I know that we deal a lot of that, even in elementary school. Yeah.
Okay, so that's definitely on my list too, to talk about when it becomes a legally punishable crime, cyberbullying. And there's a whole list of stuff. Child pornography is the biggest one. So if your child is sent a picture of somebody else, regardless of intent or the origin of the picture and the fact that they are not involved, they are in possession of child pornography. So if they send it to anybody else, if they do anything with it, they are able to be prosecuted just like the people that took the picture. And it is happening. It does happen. They prosecute these kids at times to try to teach them a lesson. Also, it happens, like it's happened here. I've heard just in the last year of a situation where a photo was sent and the guy turned around and sent it to a large portion of the school. And that was a 15-year-old girl, I think. And so everyone that had that was eligible to be legally prosecuted. And that's, child pornography is not a small charge. That's something that you would carry with you for the rest of your life. So that's not a small thing. Okay, anything that escalates to the level of harassment. So if it's repetitive, that can be legally punished. Violent or death threats, obscene or repetitive phone calls, sexting qualifies in this, stalking, or taking photos in places where privacy is expected. And it's not just about protecting your child, it's about making sure they also understand what's not okay and what they can get in trouble for doing as well, because it's easy to be in a group and not stand up for the right thing or not realize that what you're doing is going to come back on you so hard. So, okay, if you have a child that's being cyberbullied, the most important thing is to print out the post before they're deleted. Either your first gut reaction would be to get it off the page. Like, this horrible stuff is out there for everyone to see. Print it out first because you're going to need proof that it's happening. You can block the person who is harassing your child, or you, if it's happening to you too. You can contact the school or parents if you feel the need, but again, unless it happens on school property during school hours, there's probably nothing that the school can do about it. And then if it's serious, contact the police. And they have people who are trained just to deal with this area. Oh, there's no way I'm going to talk myself. Okay. Pros of social media, I just want to say, while we're talking about all the negative, bad things that can happen, there are a lot of great things about social media too. It's a good opportunity to keep up with family and friends. It could be a good way for your child to feel more plugged in with the community and with their school and what's going on. It's fun to share what's going on in your life. Kids want to do that. Adults want to do that. The exciting moments, you want to post it. So I'm not saying all social media is bad. It's just you have to be careful and just super vigilant about what your child is doing. And I say all the time, I wish that this was around when I was, not for the bullying aspect, but I have a summer birthday. And nobody ever knew that it was my birthday. Every year school would get out and my birthday was over this summer and nobody ever told me happy birthday. And then Facebook came and all of a sudden I was getting 70 and 80 posts on my wall and it was the best day of my life. So, there are pros to social media. I even had, and it's something that your kids will likely want when they get to their right age too. It's kind of like a part of growing up, like getting your driver's license, I feel, or something that they look forward to. And it's not right for everybody, but I had a coworker whose daughter made a 20-slide presentation on why she should have Snapchat and gave a PowerPoint to the family, and she did get Snapchat after that. They put a lot of rules in place, but it was very important to her. She's 15, so. Okay, so these are my recommendations as far as making sure your kids are safe. First of all, assess your child's maturity level before allowing them access to any of this or their accounts. It's not like you can say when you're 14 you'll be good for social media. Every child is different, and some might be ready for it, some might not. You're the only one that's gonna know if it's okay for your child. If you find they can't handle it, I would take it away. They need to know that they have to earn a second chance, or there's no second chances, just because it is such a serious area as far as, especially with strangers having access to your child and personal information. Parental controls. Almost all of these apps offer the ability to set parental controls. I know kids are smart and have ways to get around things, but you can set, they're all different, but you can set content as far as what they can view. You can set those. You can use the screen time on their phone and set, if you don't want them to be on Snapchat after 7 p.m., you can use outside apps to set where they can't access Snapchat after 7 p.m. There are ways to monitor and control what your kid is doing. You're just going to have to stay. And then there are also spy apps that allow you to see everything they're doing. I'm going to let you decide about whether or not that's okay. I would tell your kid if you're going to have an app on their phone that allows you to see everything they're doing, just so that they're aware. But also, my boss, I was talking to him about this right before I left, and he said his kids all know that he paid for the phone, and he pays the bill. And as the owner of the phone, he can take it from them anytime he wants to and go through whatever is on their phone. And they know that it is coming at any point. I would have died when I was 16 about privacy and leave me alone, but I can see it now. Also, I would make sure you have the passwords to all of their accounts too, just so in case you want to get in and check and see if you think something's going on. You want to check and they should know that you have the passwords too, because I think that's another step in them knowing, which brings up another point. Also, try to be careful about double accounts. I know several people who had one account that their parents could see and church friends could see, and then another account that was friends from school that was not as appropriate. So that's the kind of thing. And if you search, they both came up. It's just that her parents weren't looking for her to have another account somewhere. Let's see. Okay, just make sure your child knows the dangers of sharing personal information and what types of content are inappropriate. Like, it's the same as like not talking to strangers except on the internet. Like, they need to know, like, you can't put your home address on anything. You can't give your phone number to anything. You don't need to say, this is my name and this is where I go to school if it's somebody that you don't know. There are all ways people can find you easily. So it's just a matter of education going into this. And then they don't need to be talking to people they don't know online either. So if that cute boy that says he goes to Jackson Prep has friend requested your daughter and she wants to message him, like, that's probably not okay just because you don't know who that is. You don't know what's happening. It could be anybody. You can make fake accounts. I mean, you can do anything. Okay, the consequences of cyberbullying. Would make sure your child understands that, but then also what to do if it's happening to them, who to talk to, know that they can come to you, and then that's also something that they might talk to you about, not want to talk to you about. So again, that's something that if you had their passwords, if you were checking their phone, you might get catch if they didn't want to say anything. I would say talk about it constantly with your child and stay up to date with what they're doing and who they're talking to. Because again, things change quickly and kids are smart and they have ways of getting around things. And then finally, I would utilize online resources. I found so much just trying to look up a few things for this. There are resources everywhere on how to keep your kids safe online, how to keep your kids safe on apps, and what to do if this is happening to your child. There's just a lot of information out there, so I would take advantage of that.
Thank Megan for this.